Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a small but dense forest. The trees whispered to one another, and the flowers pollinated each other, and all the plants enjoyed being together as a forest. One day, one of the beautiful days of spring, between a cactus and a sunflower, a glowing seed started to grow. This growing flower was a gorgeous rose with crimson petals.
Hello, my name is Rosie.
I'm a cactus. Nice to meet you. Your petals are so beautiful, Rosie. I wish I had petals like yours.
Thanks, but not everyone can be smart and beautiful and fragrant, right?
Rosie's haughty response surprised everyone. She was such an arrogant flower, even though she had just bloomed.
I am obviously the most beautiful flower here. Look at my shiny petals. There are lots of beautiful plants here, Rosie. You are just one of them. What? How dare you compare me with the prickly cactus? I am much more beautiful than he.
Cactus was very upset about what he heard, and he could not say anything.
It's not nice what you said to the cactus, Rosie. And you have thorns too.
Actually, it's not nice to compare a cactus with a beautiful rose like me. What would you know about beauty? You don't even bloom.
Neither the cactus nor the sunflower or the trees could get used to Rosie's attitude because she was a flower that constantly praised herself. Days passed, and summer finally came. The sunflower was so happy. With her bright yellow face, she followed the sun's rays all day long. Cactus, on the other hand, drank the water he had stored throughout the winter and kept himself vigorous and healthy all summer long. Even some tiny birds visited the cactus to drink water. Other plants were not able to store water like cactus for this hot weather. And Rosie even began to wilt because of thirst.
Will it ever rain here?
Winter has to come for it to rain, Rosie.
But I am about to wither from this thirst. All my beauty is gone.
You can ask Cactus for help if you want.
Rosie saw that the cactus was happy to help other flowers, but she was too proud to speak up because she always said bad words to him. However, when another petal withered and fell from her head, she put her pride aside and was willing to be embarrassed. She asked the cactus for help.
Hey, cactus, I'm sorry for the cruel words I said to you and Pine Tree. You are both beautiful and very useful plants for this forest. Can you help me too?
Cactus saw that Rosie was choosing to be humble and had put her arrogance aside, so he shared his water with her. She could feel life spring up inside her once again, and her bright petals spread out in the rays of the sun. From that day on, Rosie learned not to judge her friends by their looks, because no matter how different we look from each other, each one of us is designed with beauty and helpfulness.
On a little farm lived a cute duck family. Mummy Duck was sitting on her eggs waiting for her new ducklings to hatch. There were exactly 7 eggs that were waiting to hatch. One sunny morning, the eggs began to hatch. Soon after, with great joy, the 6 little ducklings began to hatch. The ducklings were trying to adapt to the new world. They were quacking and walking around Mother Duck. However, The largest egg of them all was still trying to hatch, and Mother Duck began to worry. She thought that there might be something wrong. She decided to wait a little while longer. And at last, the seventh and the largest egg hatched. With great confusion, the poor ducklings began to look around. Little did he know his mother and siblings were a bit more confused than he was. Because this duck, in particular, did not look like his siblings. He was built much more broader and had grey and white feathers. The other ducklings began to laugh at him.
What an ugly duckling you are! You look nothing like us.
I don't get it. How come you look nothing like your siblings?
Ugly, 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 ugly.
Sometime later, the ducklings all grew older. But the ugly duckling was much bigger than the others, even the colour of his feathers.
You grew up so fast. How did you turn out to be so different?
Time was passing by, and the ugly duckling was growing up to be a different and sad duck. None of his siblings wanted to play with him.
We won't play with you because you're ugly.
All the other animals on the farm were making fun of him. Ugly duckling, ugly duckling.
Na 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 na, ugly duckling, ugly duckling.
Mother Duck, on the other hand, was doing her best in protecting him.
My poor duckling, why are you so different than the others?
As the days passed, the poor ugly duckling was feeling horrible. All night long he would silently cry and think to himself that no one would ever want him. Why am I so ugly? Why couldn't I turn out to be like my siblings? One day, some hunters approached the lake near where they lived. The hunters began to hunt the ducks they had seen. Whilst Mother Duck was looking for food for the ducklings, she was caught by the hunters. The poor duckling, not knowing what had been happening, he waited till morning for his mother to return. Poor duckling didn't know what to do. First he went next to the dog, and the dog told him to go.
Go away. No one should see me talking to an ugly duck like you.
A while later, he went next to the chicken, but the chicken also made fun of him. Even I'm better looking than you. Ugly Duckling was very sad.
No one wants me here. If my mother isn't coming back, there's absolutely no reason for me to stay on this farm.
That morning, the ugly duckling left the farm. He swam to the other side of the lake. He asked the same question to all the animals he bumped into along the way.
Do you know of any duck that looks like me? Do you know of any ducks that look like me? Do you know of any ducks that look like me?
He received the same answer from all of them. They had never seen such ugly duck before. Poor Duckling began his journey and reached another lake once he was there. He asked the same question to the geese. You mustn't stay here like this. There are hunters around. Quickly get away from here. Go on, now go. The ugly duckling began to move along. Soon after, another lake appeared. This time he was all alone. There was no one to be seen.
Well then, if nobody wants me, I will hide here forever.
Even though he was all alone, he was very happy. One day, he saw a horde of white, long-necked birds migrating to the south. He looked at them with admiration.
How beautiful they are! I wish I could be like them.
Winter had come and snow had begun to fall. The ugly duckling fell in love with the sight of his first ever snow. Playing around, he was covered in white snow. Due to the heavy snow, the ugly duckling was finding it hard to find food. So off he went walking around trying to find food. He was cold and tired. Meanwhile, he came across a farmer. The farmer felt sorry for him and gave his jacket.
You poor thing, how cold you are. I will take you home and look after you until you grow.
The farmer did as he said and took good care of him. When spring had arrived, the ugly duckling had grown. So that he would have free space to move around, the farmer decided to leave him in a lake. All alone once again, after some time had passed, the ugly duckling looked at his reflection in the water. But he was amazed at what he saw. At first, he couldn't recognize himself. He thought there was someone else behind him. So he flipped his wings and noticed that his reflection was doing the same thing. He stretched out his neck and his reflection continued to copy his movements. Right then he knew that this amazing bird was no one other than himself.
Oh, how much I've changed. I look like the birds in the sky. I must return back home and show myself at once.
And off he went. While he was swimming in the lake, he came across a wedge of swans. Because he was one of them now, they took him along. Ugly Duckling was travelling in joy with the swans. A boy at the lake shore yelled out to his friends when he saw the swans.
Hey, look at the young one, all the way back. Must be the most beautiful swan I've seen.
Yes, from the beginning, he indeed was a swan. He was just an unfortunate egg which got mixed up in between the ducks. But now he was with his real family, and ahead of him was a happy life.
In a forest lived a rabbit. Wandering all day long, all he did was jump up and admire himself. He loved talking about how much faster he was than the other animals.
I'm the fastest animal in the forest. Would anyone like to race with me?
He sure did run fast with his very big feet. The other animals hated the way he would show off. In saying that, they never ever won a race.
Yes, I win again. Why? Because I'm fast.
Everywhere he went, he would say, "I'm so fast, no one could ever pass me." His words had begun to disturb all the other animals in the forest.
Okay, he might be the fastest, but the fact that he says and shows off about it's not nice.
Someone should teach my lesson to smarten up.
All that was said amongst all the animals in the forest managed to go to the turtle. The turtle walked very slow. It would take him a day to reach the distance the rabbit could make in a minute. The turtle wished he would come across the rabbit one of these days. He went to the other animals and told them that he would like to race with the rabbit.
You want to race him?
Not even the fastest animals have won against the rabbit. How can you?
You leave that part up to me.
The turtle went next to the rabbit.
Good day, Mr. Rabbit. I have been searching for you.
Curiously, the rabbit asked.
And why might you be looking for me?
I hear that you are the fastest animal in the forest. Well, actually, that's what you think. But to be sure, I would like to race with you. Let's see who is faster.
As soon as the turtle had finished what he had to say, the rabbit began to laugh so hard that all the other animals in the forest heard him.
You? With me? A race? Are you joking me? It's impossible for you to pass me. By the time you take a step, I would finish the race.
Well, unless we race, we will never know, will we?
Okay, be ready then. Tomorrow morning we race.
As the turtle began walking away, the rabbit continued on laughing. The following morning, the animals arrived at the racecourse. They noticed the turtle waiting at the starting line, all ready to go. Very sure of himself, the turtle was smiling.
Please tell me how you're going to beat the rabbit. If he really is so proud and a big show-off, as you all say he is, then this race isn't going to be hard at all.
Soon after, with his very stuck-up attitude, holding a carrot, the rabbit arrived at the racecourse.
Let's race and finish this. I still haven't had breakfast.
Finishing their last preparations, they arrived at the starting point.
The first one that arrives at the red line at the end of the forest wins.
With the mark of the mole, the race started. Just like an arrow, the rabbit flew by. The turtle, on the other hand, began to walk slowly. Whoa! The rabbit was nowhere to be seen. The animals watching the race thought that the turtle was going to get beaten. After running a while, the rabbit stopped and had a look behind him. There was nothing to be seen.
By the looks of it, the turtle will finish the race tonight. I better sit and finish my carrot.
The rabbit finished eating his carrot, looked up the road, and from afar he saw the turtle coming. With a cheeky grin, he stood up and continued on running. The rabbit had nearly reached the finishing point.
I'm a bit sleepy after breakfast. I might sit under this tree and take a nap.
As confident as he was about winning the race, the rabbit drifted off to sleep. The turtle continued on walking very, very slowly, but with great confidence. At last, he arrived next to the rabbit. He saw that the rabbit was in a deep sleep. Without stopping, he continued on his way. A while later, the rabbit woke up. When he looked and could not see the turtle,
The turtle is nowhere to be seen. Maybe he doesn't want to race anymore. I should finish my race now.
as the rabbit was slowly making his way to the finishing point, what does he see? The turtle had passed him. In fact, he was about to finish the race. Using all the energy he had left over, he tried to pass the turtle. But the turtle had already finished the race. Some of the animals waiting at the finish line were extremely happy. All the animals were throwing the turtle up in the air with great excitement. while the rabbit stood in the corner with great sadness. Turtle, the winner of the race, walked towards the rabbit.
Mr. Rabbit, the important thing is being consistent about everything that you do. To brag with nonsense and love yourself is weakness. I beat you not because I was faster, but I was wiser and did what I did seriously.
You're right. From now on, I will stop bragging about being the fastest amongst everyone.
I should return now. My home is a long journey away.
The turtle smiled and continued on his way. The rabbit learnt a good lesson and noticed his mistake. After that day on, he never ever bragged about himself, nor did he ever race again.